Hi, my name is Pam Graham, and today I want to share my recipe for Philly Steakhouse sandwich. I'm starting off with a tri-tip that I have seasoned with fajita seasoning, lemon and garlic herb blends, and steak seasoning, and I'm putting it into a preheated 375 degree oven. Then what I'm going to do is come over here and light my pan. I'm going to saute caramelize some onions and saute some mushrooms after the onions have become caramelized. So I need to get my heat started, my oil started for that. The next thing I'm going to do is make a spread for my Philly Steakhouse sandwich. And we're going to start off with 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. Now, if you don't recognize this packaging, this is Philadelphia cream cheese in a 3-pound pack. And I'm doing a catering job. Well, no, I'm actually doing a chamber mixer with appetizers, and 3 or 4 of the recipes call for Philadelphia cream cheese. So this, for those that need a lot of Philadelphia cream cheese, it is available in the larger size. To that I have added a 8-ounce package of a garlic herb spread. I'm going to add a tablespoon of Worcestershire, a tablespoon of garlic powder, and 2 tablespoons of prepared horseradish. I came up with this recipe. We were doing a barbecue competition and we had to cook with tri-tip. And I didn't know when we got to the competition what I was going to do with it. Tri-tip, for people that are not familiar with that cut of meat, it's pretty standard out here in California, and typically tri-tip is cooked with a garlic, salt, and pepper blend, and then it's grilled off over red oak over a high heat and then served. And I thought I would do a different version of California tri-tip. So I came up with walking up and down the aisles of a supermarket on location for this barbecue competition. And I love cream cheese. You can do anything with cream cheese. And thought about the horseradish. I love a good steak with horseradish sauce, or a side of horseradish for the meat, and garlic. Garlic goes so well, and it's part of the California tri-tip preparation, so I thought I would incorporate it all into one dish. So now that we've got the reb made, or the spread made, I'm going to set that aside so the flavors can marry, and come over here and start caramelizing our onions. The oil is hot, and turn that down just a little bit. And we're going to put the onions in here, and you can see that I have mushrooms as well. The mushrooms I'm going to add in a little bit after we get some color onto the onions. When the onions start to get some color to them, we'll be right back and I'll show you what else I do to this mixture. Now that we've got some color on the onions, I'm going to add the mushrooms. And it looks like a lot of mushrooms, but trust me, these are going to cook down and add a lot of flavor. We're going to add a little bit more olive oil and some butter to this, and season it with salt and pepper, and let them sweat down a little bit. And once this is sweat down some, I know that's not enough butter for you, Paula, sorry. But I like to get it balanced. We're going to finish it off with port wine and reduce it a little bit. And this will go on top of the tri-tip. And really the best part about this dish and what makes it stand out is the cream cheese and the horseradish and the garlic that goes on the bread and just brings it all together like a steakhouse steak in sandwich form. And that's where I came up with the name. Okay, our meat is ready to come out. We have cooked it to medium rare. We're going to place it over here, and I'm going to tent it so that it can rest. We've got our mushrooms and onions over here. We're going to add in a teaspoon of thyme, and they're just about ready to go. And to finish this off and make it really special, we're going to add a cup of pork. And let this reduce down, and this is going to blend perfectly with the meat. I come over here, and I have ciabatta bread. We're going to cut it in half, and we're going to spread it with our spread. Now, for those of you that you can order tri-tip. It's also known as triangle roast. It used to be back in the day, butchers didn't know how to display it in the meat case, so instead of selling it as tri-tip, they ground it up and used it as hamburger. It is from the bottom end of the sirloin, so this meat has a ton of flavor. But if you couldn't get tri-tip, you can always use ribeye, slice it thin. So now that this is all going on, we're gonna finish reducing the mushrooms and onions and let the meat rest, and we'll be back in a few minutes. I'll show you how to slice it up and make these wonderful sandwiches. I'm cutting my tri-tip, and what you wanna do is the grain of the meat runs this way. You want to cut against the grain so that it slices very nice, and it makes it a lot more tender to chew when you put it on your sandwich. Very important. So we're going to, I already took the sauteed mushrooms and onions and the port wine. We're just going to place the tri-tip on top of the mushrooms and onions. And this sandwich will feed 4 people. And the beautiful thing about this sandwich is that you can make it ahead of time and use it for tailgating parties or picnics or concerts in the park, because there's nothing in here that can't be eaten at room temperature, and it's a very hearty meal. So let me move this out of the way, and I will show you how I use a carving knife because it gets a little bit unwieldy if I don't use an electric knife. But just cut it down the center, and you can cut it into 4 different sections and wrap them up, and they're good to go. I can't eat all this, so I'm going to cut it into a little bit right there. And look at that. You've got your caramelized onions and the sauteed mushrooms, port wine reduction, and the cream cheese with the horseradish and garlic flavors in it. Sorry, this is better than going to a steakhouse because it's done here and it has all the flavors. It's absolutely wonderful.